I'm sorry, but like what? For what? There could people watching live. I can't hear you at all.
You have to go to his Facebook page to get on.
Oh. Jimmy,
Yes.
how do you get on? Is it how
Okay.
do people watch right now?
Yeah.
Thinking the
I'm
same
just having
thing.
probably getting on though.
Who cares? If it was early, I would have gone outside and did it. But it
No,
rains.
it's too dark.
No.
All right, bear with me a second here.
Take your time.
Yeah, I'm trying to get on.
Hi, this is Wayne Newton, and you're listening to my good friend and favorite DJ, Jimmy Deal.
Hey, how you doing, DJ Al Rock and Alicia? And I think we had Tony in here, but I think she's gone for some reason. I think we just lost her. But all right, let's see if she comes back in. If she comes back in, we could get her right back on. But anyway, well, welcome to Celebrity Spotlight, and DJ Al Rock is here, of course, and the one and only Canarsie legend Alicia is with me. Great to have you with me, Alicia. How you doing?
I'm good. Thanks for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. We're so excited about this upcoming Canarsie reunion, the official Canarsie reunion, of course. It's Saturday, July 20th at the Richmond Republic, 4459 Amboy Road, right, in Staten Island. It starts at 9 p.m. Come early for dinner and stay for the Alicia show, right? You're excited about coming back, seeing all your friends, Alicia?
Oh, of course. It's always fun to see anybody from Brooklyn, from Canarsie is even better. That's for sure.
Absolutely. Now, DJ Al Rock, I mean, you were pretty much instrumental with Tony N and putting this event together. Tell us about putting the event together and about the Richmond Republic.
Well, we actually did this last year, but we had a reunion back in 2008 that brought over 800 people together, and my wife organized that. She's not back yet. I don't know where she is, but we did it last year, Richmond Republic. It went so well. We decided to do it again this year. It was the end of July last year. We're doing it the end of July this year. And it was a unanimous decision. My wife's idea to get Alicia to perform. There was a couple of obstacles, but, you know, it all worked out. We're going to be there on Saturday. Richmond Republic is owned by one of our Canarsie family members, Mike Ladani. So, you know, it hits home. We're having it in a Canarsie establishment pretty much. So we're looking for a nice turnout. It's always good to see people from the good old days. And it's just remarkable that we keep in touch and we're able to still get together. You know, social media is responsible for that. But, you know, the bond between people from Canarsie, Georgetown, Bergen Beach, Mill Basin, it's just amazing how we still keep in touch and care for each other and watch each other's backs.
Right. Now, you've been DJing a long time, right, Al? You started out when you were in Canarsie as a disc jockey?
Yes. I actually started out when I was about 16 years old. We went to the Funhouse back then, and a lot of people that went to the Funhouse wanted to become DJs just from the music alone. Right. So that place really pushed me to be, you know, who I am today. I stopped for a while when I got married and started a family, but I got back into it when we did that reunion at the El Carib in 2008. So, you know, I've been busy ever since. And I think Alicia performed at the Funhouse. Am I right, Alicia?
Yes, I did.
Yes, she performed there. And, you know, they had a lot of famous performers that started their career there. As well as a lot of Canarsie DJs that started their careers basically going to the Funhouse, learning the music, and then just buying the equipment and becoming DJs.
Oh, wow. Now, Alicia, you, of course, you started your career while you were living here in Canarsie, right?
Yeah, I actually lived in Georgetown, but to be totally truthful, I was born in Canarsie. My parents bought a house in Georgetown. I was like 2 weeks old and we moved to Georgetown, but my whole life was that area till I was in my 30s, honestly. And it was the best neighborhood. Honestly, we knew everybody. You know, if you're from Canarsie, you knew everybody that lived next door to you, down the block, your whole block. You knew people that went to elementary school, high school. You know, it was great. It was a great neighborhood.
Yeah, you went to South Shore High School, right?
Yes, I did.
Yeah. And of
Wow.
course, that's you when you started your career. I mean, you had a lot going on there too, right? You were a cheerleader, right? And you
Yeah.
were in the Battle of the Bands, all that type of thing, right? Tell us about that.
I was those. That was all before I started recording, so it
Right.
was amazing. I was a kid.
Uh-huh.
Even when All Night Passion came out, I was a junior in high school. I was 15, turning 16, but it was an amazing time, and nobody in my family came from that, so it was we learned as I was doing it, but it was amazing. And growing up there, like I said, I had siblings that were older than me and one that's younger than me. And
Mhm.
we knew so many people because of that. Everybody just knew each other. You looked out for each other, and it was great. I did love high school. I really did.
Oh, that's awesome. And I mean, you started your career. It was early, right? About 8 years old is when you really started singing, and
Yeah,
your parents really, they pushed your career a little bit, right? Your dad was
they
so proud of you.
influenced me. Yes, I would not be doing this if it wasn't for my mother and my father.
Mhm.
My father had this idea for me to really record and make a record so
Mhm.
that I wouldn't have to sing in front of, everybody to hear my voice. And if it wasn't for him, I definitely would not have been doing this. I didn't have the nerve to do it. It was really all his idea. And my mother was right there with us. They came to every show. They took me for singing, dancing lessons, acting, all that stuff. They were great parents. I was
Right.
very lucky.
Well, we're going to talk about getting your first record deal with Vanguard Records, right? We'll talk about that in a second, but I want to welcome Tony Ann is back. And of course, it was instrumental in putting this reunion together. So Tony Ann, tell us about putting the reunion together, how you came up with the idea, and tell us about all the facts about the reunion. Hopefully now, but we can't hear Tony Ann. Tony, check your mic, see if your mic is still on.
She's on mute. I could see the mute button.
Okay.
Oh, there she is. I heard her for a second.
Okay. So basically, how it all started was Alan had DJ'd my brother Paul's wedding.
Mhm.
And so everywhere he was going from that point on, I would follow him all over the place because I just loved the way he was DJing, and I loved his wife, and it was just fun. It was fun. And then a friend of ours, they were at a place in Brooklyn, and we just happened to be in Staten Island, so we kind of missed each other.
Mhm.
And she's like, well, why don't you get something together? I'm like, oh, okay. Not thinking nothing of it. I was like, hey, Ellen, you want to put something together? You want to DJ? He's like, oh, okay. And then we talked to Mike Ladani, who we grew up with. And he owns part of the Richmond Republic. That was his thing. And I just kind of went in there not realizing like what it was. And we just kind of asked him, you want to do it? And he's like, okay. And and that's really kind of how it came about last year. And It was my first time ever doing anything like that. So needless to say, I was a nervous wreck last year because I was afraid that it wasn't going to be good. And, but it worked out really, really nice. We all had a great time. There were people there that I didn't remember or I didn't even maybe interact with. And everybody just literally, right, Alan, had like the best time last year. It really was.
It was
And
excellent.
they asked us to do it again. So we did. And then thank God, it worked out. And Alicia, thank you so much for, doing this. It's great. It's nice because it's like a real Canarsie type of reunion. It's like real people that came from Canarsie. It's not just the name.
Right. And of course, Alicia's a hometown hero, so it's so great to have her on the bill for the show. Absolutely. And Tony and I go way, way back, right? Tony, we know each other. We went to Holy Family together, right?
And went kindergarten, yeah.
You know me like 50 years, something like that.
Pretty much. Yeah, pretty much. You're right. 50 years. Yeah.
Wow, amazing.
Yeah.
And of course, Al said he was in Canarsie a long time too, right? Al, tell us about that. Tell us about being in Canarsie and the time you grew up in. Give us some of your favorite memories, Al.
I agree with Alicia. It was definitely a neighborhood where everybody knew each other.
Mm-hmm.
You knew everyone on your block. We hung out on Flatlands Avenue. I lived on East 81st between Flatlands and Glenwood. So we had the two bagel stores right across the street. The bagels are definitely a big memory and a big part of Canarsie.
Absolutely.
The hanging, the Bialys too, for sure. You could still get Bell Bialys. But I mostly remember just the days and nights of endless hanging out on street corners, in schoolyards, in parks, going to clubs. One thing about Canarsie is it was a tough neighborhood.
It was absolutely.
You didn't want to, you didn't want to mess with people from Canarsie.
Mhm.
My friend Mike Scott, everybody knows Mike Scott. He's got a saying that
I just got off the
everybody's a tough guy until Canarsie shows up. So
That's great. Love that.
Canarsie had a reputation for just being very solid in the clubs and
Right.
At each other's backs.
sticking together. But I would say my best memories are just hanging out all day, all night, going out to clubs. I agree with Alicia. South Shore is just an amazing experience going to that high school.
Yeah.
And I believe truly that Georgetown, Mill Basin, and Bergen Beach we're all part of the same family. We're all part of the same group. And, South Shore really made that happen because, we were hanging out in Canarsie all those years. But then when the high school years came and you met everybody from all those other neighborhoods, we really, bonded and became close with Georgetown, Mill Basin, and Bergen Beach. And, if you're from those areas, you're more than invited to join us on Saturday. So it's not just a Canarsie thing.
Right.
We want Georgetown, Mill Basin, Old Mill Basin, Bergen Beach. We want you guys there because, you're a part of this just as much as just the people from Canarsie, But, you had different areas. You had Avenue L, you had
That's what I
Flatland
was.
Avenue, you had 114 Park, South Shore Park. There was just so many different groups of people and hangouts. And you could go at 87th and Glenwood by the candy store. I don't know if you remember that, Tony.
Right.
Yeah.
But, I knew people from all the different hangouts. And I'm still in touch with most of them today. A lot of them are no longer with us. That's why, another thing, Tony Ann didn't mention, but a big part of why we're doing this is because we lost so many people from our Canarsie family over the last 5-6 years. We just want to do this as long as we can. We're getting older. We're not getting any younger. So
Absolutely.
we're still able to do this. We're very blessed that we get together, in these ways. So I'm going to be playing music only from our Canarsie era. So
Awesome.
It's going to be 70s disco, freestyle, 90s hip hop, funhouse music, all that kind of cruising music that you remember. So we're going to put, a nostalgic feel on this evening, and it's going to feel like you're hanging out in Canarsie because you're going to see all the people. And, one thing I remember about the clubs is, Canarsie just took over a certain area of the club, and it just, it felt good, to be in that group and pack of friends that, we used to have, going to the Long Island clubs like Speaks, Channel 80, and all that
Sure.
stuff.
Well, I got to say, though,
Yeah,
our
really.
hometown club was La Park, and we have Angelo going to be bartending, and he was,
Right.
owner of the La Parks, as the years went on. His dad obviously owned the original, well, back further, but you know what I'm saying? But he's like the legacy. So he's coming in, and he's going to represent, part of Canarsie as well. He'll be behind the bar, which
Right.
was pretty cool. And then it was Mike's birthday yesterday, and it was for Sunday. I'm sorry, the 14th. And so I just thought it was all appropriate to have everybody. It's like, Alicia started it off, so I was like, this makes so much sense, and that's why we just started to get everybody to do this. And like I said, it was fun last year. It was kind of like a quick put together. I mean, we did have like a t-shirt thing going on, but like this year, instead of doing that, I just, me and my cousin, we're going to do a backdrop for pitches and stuff like that. I figured everybody's got cameras. So, everybody's going to do their thing with that, but we're going to have a nice, like a balloon arch thing. So at least when we walk in, people could take pictures and stuff like that.
What about Canarsie memorabilia? You going to have any Canarsie memorabilia at the event? Like t-shirts or that type of thing?
Now, you know what? We didn't think it was, to do it this year because it did kind of, even though we started in January, just to get, in case people had to travel or whatever.
Right.
Basically, that's how it just kind of, the year, everything just happened. A lot of things happened. So it kind of, we're just keeping it simple. Melanie, which is Al's wife, pretty much said the same thing. She says, let's just keep it simple this year. And that's that. And that's how we did it. pretty much.
Well, definitely not going to be simple with Alicia performing.
Well, that's it. I'm just talking about like the back stuff. Alicia's in. Everybody's coming for her. Thank God.
Oh my God.
Right. Well, you know what? I went to Canarsie High School, so of course there was the battle of the bands, and there was the battle of the DJs, and of course South Shore did this pretty much the same thing. And Alicia, you were part of the battle of the bands and all that, and of course you were in a band called the Babysitters back in the day. Tell us about that and your experience with that.
That's kind of a funny story. That my father definitely got me hooked up with these guys, and they were all older than me at the time. Now now I'm thinking they must be younger than I was at the time, but
Right.
I was a kid. It was before All Night Passion came out. I had to be like 13, 14 years old, and they were all older than me. They must have had families and stuff. And it was basically a rock band that we just recorded a bunch of songs. That's actually, I think, the demo that was used for that went around in order for me to get my record deal with
Okay.
All Night Passion, now that I
Right.
think about it. But it was just another vessel for me to, again, through my father, trying to get me heard
Right.
anywhere and everywhere. You know, there's a lot of stories about my father. I don't know if you've ever heard this or met my father. I don't remember if
No,
you
I
did,
don't think so.
but unfortunately, he passed away about 16 years ago.
Oh,
My
I'm
mom
sorry to
passed
hear
away
that.
about
Wow.
4.
Wow.
But my
Sorry.
father would talk to my brother, and my father had a couple of gas stations in Canarsie.
I would always hear that. You know, people would tell me, you know, Alicia's father has a gas station in Canarsie, but I know, you know, I didn't know if that was true or not. But here we go.
They
Now,
did.
confirm it.
And
The truth is right here.
It's 100% true. One was on, I think it was 84th Street and Flaplands Avenue, and the other one was that was a Shell station, and they had an Exxon station that was on the corner of Rockaway Parkway and Seaview Avenue.
Oh,
And
okay.
when my father did those shifts,
Oh, I remember
Uh-huh.
that.
pumping gas, he would ask anybody and everybody if anybody knew anybody in the music business, and he would give my cassettes out constantly. That's how old we are, that it was cassettes back then. But that's one of the tapes was I was on with the Babysitters, so it's funny for me to
Wow.
think back all those years ago. I mean, All Night Passion is already 40 years this year, so
Amazing.
Happy
Tell us about
holidays.
getting that first record deal with Vanguard Records.
how did it happen?
Yeah.
It was that demo tape. Honestly, that tape somehow got into the hands of somebody that worked there,
Mhm.
and that person passed it on to the producer, whose name was Mark Berry,
Right.
and he was looking for a singer for All Night Passion, and we went and I remember my father put up the money for the demo of it at the time, because it was a private thing that this Mark Berry did,
Mhm.
and somehow he worked for Vanguard, but he was not really producing for them at that time.
Right.
And he found the song and was looking for a singer, and we went and recorded it, and he gave it to them first to see if they would want it, and thank God they did.
Tell us about the recording session. When you first did All Night Passion, was there a special feel after listening to the tape back? I mean, did you know that this thing was going to be something special when you first recorded it?
I didn't know anything. I was a kid. I knew nothing at
Mhm.
all. We knew nothing about the business.
Hmm.
All I remember is my father putting phone calls into Mark Berry, hoping he was going to call us back with info and dates of when we were going to go to the studio. I mean, it was all new horizons. We didn't know what we were getting ourselves into. But
Right.
after the song was recorded, it took a while for them to put it out. And the one thing I remember is in 1984, and it was February, somehow the record company got it onto, it was 92 KTU at the time, and they were going to play it for the first time they debuted it. It was Carlos De Jesus. I don't know if anybody remembers those
Yeah,
days.
sure.
But,
Studio 92. It's Carlos De Jesus. I remember that.
yep, and he played
And-
it at night, 8 o'clock at night, just like this. He played it, and it was so exciting, because we didn't know what to expect, and that was
Right.
really the first most exciting thing that happened up until that time.
Where were you when you first heard it on the radio?
I was home. It was that night. I
Uh-huh.
remember it was February 1st, 1984.
Must have been a party in your house.
We were going crazy. It was unbelievable. And then thereafter, it was amazing, because then I was lucky. The DJs are really what got my music played in the
Mhm.
clubs 1000%. I'll say that till I die. There were so many clubs back then, so many DJs. There were record pools. If you're in the business, you know this stuff.
Sure. Yeah.
You guys, you know what I'm talking about. But if it wasn't for them, all this kind of music, all that dance music that was in the 80s, never would have had a place to be if it wasn't for them. And then it got slowly, it didn't get played on the radio so much. It was really in the clubs. That's what did it. And then slowly but surely it got played a little bit, and then it did take on a life of its own. I'm lucky. I'm definitely lucky. To this
Tell us
day,
how your
I
life
still
changed.
say-
I'm sure in school, everything had to change for you as far as dealing with other students and people around the neighborhood, right? Tell us about that.
It wasn't anything crazy. I'm not the kind to really toot my own horn. I was kind of quiet in school. People that know me, that I grew up with and I'm friends with, I'm not quiet with, but I'm not the kind to bring attention to myself. So I went through my junior year. I was a cheerleader that year. Did everything. I started doing clubs in March, I remember. And then we started had a lot of clubs in Florida, but the tri-state area was really like booming. There was so many clubs, and I did a lot of areas as time went on. All My Passion came out in 1984, and then Two Turned On came out a year later, and Baby Talk came out a little after that. I never thought my career snowballed, but honestly, looking back, that was how things happened. So that first album, my Alicia album, my debut, was those 3 songs are on that album, and I'm lucky to this day because that's what people know, and that's what I'm still performing after 40 years. Those songs.
Baby Talk did amazing things for you, right? The video. Tell us about recording the video. That must have been an experience for you, right?
Everything was new. Like I said, I was a kid. I didn't know what I was doing. Honestly, when I took the picture for the album shot for the album, I'm sorry, for the album, Alicia.
Right.
I was in a bed store. Like there was no high budget of anything. I started out, I was on a small label, and they did the best they could. They really did the most for my career. And I did whatever they asked me for. If clubs wanted me to perform, my parents were right there. They were my road managers, and we figured it all out. But the video was, we were happy to do a video because the other songs, All My Passion, didn't really have a video, and Two Turned On did not. And finally, I guess they realized the album was doing something, and Baby Talk really was starting to make a little buzz. So that was the era that everybody was doing videos, but they cost a lot of money, and I was on a small label. So
now, of course, that was on MTV, right?
It went on MTV. Not so much. Like those days, it was Madonna and Michael Jackson and all those. As I was doing it a little more, I had a second album and a third album.
Right.
Those they tried. I was on major labels for those. I was on RCA for my second album called Nightwalking, and my third album was Bounce Back. That was on MCA. So those bigger labels had a little more pull. And I remember Downtown Julie Brown had her show on Club MTV, and those were looking for my kind of music. They were looking for dance mixes and stuff. So I was on with those records and stuff. So that was fun.
And I got a question from a listener, Tom Payton, who listens to this show all the time, wants to know, what was it like to work with Jelly Bean Benitez?
Well, Jelly Bean is, he was amazing. I didn't work so much with him over the years. I've been in, clubs. Of course, he was in the Funhouse back in the day, and he's an amazing DJ. He's a great producer. He's got a great ear, and he's a really nice guy. He really is. Anytime I see him, I'm surprised he knows who I am. Put it that way. It's like, it's a small business at times, but like I said, I don't have a big head, so it's like I'm surprised he knows who I am. But it was amazing. That one, I did one song that came out on his label. It was in the movie.
Was that Superstar?
It was Superstar, yeah, which is a phenomenal opportunity to be on a soundtrack of a movie. So that was amazing.
And you had another song in Mannequin, right?
I did. That was on my second album also. They didn't have a soundtrack for that movie, but they only had 4 songs in that movie. But Do You Dream About Me is my song in that movie, and it's featured in the whole, in the middle of the movie. It's amazing. Still to this day, I can't believe those, that I have songs in movies.
Right. Well, I have another guy who is listening to the show right now in Sicily, Italy. His name is Sal, and he wants to know, what does Sal want to know? Do you have any new music coming out since freestyle has come back in such a big way?
I don't have anything new. I really wish I did. It's been a long time since I recorded, and honestly, since I've been singing since I'm 8, it would be wonderful if I had something new out, but I just haven't put the pieces together. The business is so different from when I started that you really need to have your head in it completely. If I had any opportunity to do something new, I would jump at it. I would like to.
So DJ Al, I mean, do you remember playing all these songs back in the day, Alicia's songs when you first started out?
I gotta say, you know, All Night Passion is just the type of record that if you mix it in right, you know, you just get a reaction every time, and it's a floor filler. You know, all our songs are great. Baby Talk 2 Turned On, but it's just like All Night Passion just hits a dance floor differently. If you gotta play it at the right time, obviously.
Right.
But you know, that's my favorite song, and you know, it fits. It doesn't only fit the freestyle era; it fits the dance music era. You could put it in with disco. It runs with house music. So it's just the type of record that gets the reaction. Everybody knows it. Everybody's familiar with it. They know every word to the song, so they could sing along with it. Right. So that's just the type of timeless record, you know, that I love. It's on my playlist at just about every party that I do. I'm active every weekend, so I'm playing it, you know, every chance I get, because it just fits in with any party. You know, any age group will know that song. Right. So, you know,
that's nice of you to say. Thank you.
Yes.
Oh, no, this is good for Alicia and DJ Al.
I can't play it Saturday because she's going to be singing it. So
we get the live version.
That I'm DJing it, you know. But I'm really excited. I actually did a wedding, Alan and Anne Marie's wedding, and Alicia performed at that wedding at the Liberty House a few years ago. Alan and Anne Marie, also friends from Canarsie, dear friends. Alan lived around the corner from me, but Alicia performed at the wedding. And it just transformed the party into a whole different level, you know, once she got on, because I don't think anybody knew that she was going to come on and perform at the wedding. But she's just one of those people, and those songs that she sings, it just hits differently. You know, there is a lot of freestyle, and yes, freestyle definitely is still alive. It came back. You know, I think it all sounds the same. You know, it's not something that gets me excited, but, you know, All Night Passion is just one of those songs that fits and gets people excited. So, you know, if she did something new, fine. But, you know, her music's timeless. So it'll still be going after we're all gone. You know,
why is that, Al? Why does that music keep going? Why are people fascinated with freestyle music and it never gets old? Well, good music never gets old. But why do you think freestyle just keeps on going?
I just think that all of our music from our day was the best music of any generation. You know, I'm a DJ that plays retirement parties, sweet 16s, weddings, clubs, bars. I do everything. So I'm playing 50s, 60s. I'm playing all kinds of music. Right. So I love all kinds of music. I'm not partial to our genre, you know, but we had the best music of any generation. If you think about it, disco, freestyle, the hip hop, you know, the house music, the fun house music, it blows anything away. So I think it's head and shoulders above today's music. And I don't know if I can curse, but it stinks. You know, 50s, 60s, okay, but once you got into the 70s,
good. I haven't said a word.
I know. Tony has been good.
Not to say curses, but I'm just saying that our music was the best. And Alicia's right. The amount of clubs that were around in the 80s, we were out every night of the week. There was no night to stay home. There was something to do. You had Montana's on Mondays, TJ Buntley's on Tuesdays, Pastels on Wednesdays, Bay Ridge on Thursdays, you know, something to do every night of the week. The city, Long Island, you know, we went everywhere. You know, we went everywhere. And
the reason why is because the music, when they made the music, and Alicia, you could correct me if I'm wrong, but I think when you guys were young and, you know, like when you're singing about things that were going on, whether you went through it or somebody else went through it, and the music resonated with us because we were probably going through something like that, or or we knew somebody who was, and it was just like, like we had fun, like we were having a good time, and that it all just kind of came together. And now it's just a little hard to understand some of, the music that's out. I mean, there are some, don't get me wrong, there's some,
Not like it was back in the day.
Nah. I
Never.
mean, like I said, besides our music, maybe the 50s music I enjoyed. But after that, it's like, it is what it is. That's why they're good. And
We
bringing them
lost a lot
back.
of the
So
clubs
it's
too.
nice.
Like Alan was mentioning, we had so many clubs, TJ Bentley's. I remember back in the day. Of course, I was on the morning show at 95.5 PLJ. I remember playing Alicia back in the day on PLJ. We had played Baby Talk and a lot of the music back then. Of course, I was with Scott Shannon and Todd Pettingill and Leslie Allen. And I remember being at TJ Bentley's, and I brought on Robin S. I brought her out on stage in Bay Ridge. So many fun days back, back at that time, and the music. I mean, it's just it's nothing today compares to the music back then, right, Alicia?
Well, it's certainly, I think what you grow up on is your favorite kind of music. And you know what? The younger kids, they like what's going on now. I feel like, before us, our generation, it was, Elvis and the Beatles, and our parents probably liked that era, you know what I mean? And
Right.
the 50s and 60s music, you know what I mean? But for me, I do, whatever Alan said, all that music, that's that. You hear one note of those songs and it brings you right back to those days.
Yeah.
And that's what music does.
Yeah.
If you ask me, I can remember being a cheerleader in South Shore the summer before the season started.
Right.
Shannon's Let the Music Play was the biggest song. I
Right.
remember it perfectly. Like it brings you back to 1983. Boom. Check what year that came out, because that's when it was. Like there's just certain things
83.
you think of it and it brings you back to that time. You hear the music. It's amazing.
That's what's so amazing about all your music, Alicia. I mean, it just takes you back. It's like a
Thank
time
you.
machine, and it brings you back to such a better time in life and all those good times of growing up and going to high school. And of course, coming from Canarsie and Bay Ridge, you go down 86th Street and all the Cadillacs and all the beautiful cars, and they were all blasting All Night Passion, Baby Talk, Two Turned On. You would hear that all the time.
Those were the days.
Those were the
Those
days.
are great memories. They really are. And it's so true. Like people may not believe it, but it's so true.
Mm.
Growing up,
Absolutely.
everybody had their windows down and the music blasting. Didn't have to always be my songs, but we all did it. It was the best.
And
Right.
it wasn't like that. Everybody just came together with the music.
It was nothing like hanging out in Canarsie. Of course, we didn't have 86th Street here in Canarsie. It was, of course, Bay Ridge, but we had Avenue L. And Avenue L, all the cars going up and down with all your music and all the great music of that time. Absolutely.
Yeah.
Great memories in Canarsie. So, Tony, tell us about all your favorite music and all your favorite artists growing up. I know Alicia was one of them, but who else did you listen to?
Absolutely. Well, I did, I like the disco songs and stuff like that, but my thing was always freestyle. I always loved the freestyle songs, the dance music, because that's what got you up and dancing. It didn't matter if you liked to dance. It matter. You heard those songs even now. It's like, and it's funny because my daughter will tell me, she'll hear the song and she'll know the words. And, and I just remember, she's like, well, you had those songs blasting the whole time. And I was like, okay, and some of the songs that maybe we should have had them listen to, like Run DMC with certain songs. However, but you know what? It made them better people for listening to that stuff anyway. But they do. They our kids. I think that next generation, we got lucky. Maybe like those children still have those, memories of those songs. So and they like you said, somebody said it. Just they keep coming back. Freestyle keeps coming back. The disco keeps coming back. It recycles, and it's funny. It's really
Never
funny.
gets old, for sure. Alicia, do you have a favorite song to perform on stage? I know that's a hard one because all your songs are great, but
I do like to sing All Night Passion when they know it. And usually if I'm in the tri-state area singing, they'll know my songs, which is amazing. I never go into any show thinking they're going to know all my stuff, but you could tell when they know certain songs. And I do like to sing All Night Passion.
yeah.
And I usually do it last. So
You toured. I mean, you were even toured overseas, right? In the UK, right, in Holland. Tell us about that. What were the audiences like when you were performing overseas?
I did a couple of tours. I did one in France, I did one in Holland, and it was about that 1985 time,
Mhm.
1986 when I went, and some of the music was put out there. Baby Talk really was the most pushed song in those territories, so
Right.
that's why I was able to go to some of those places. And again, it was all clubs that I did. I went there and I did clubs, so it was
Oh wow.
something I was very used to. I did a few TV shows here and there that they were trying to promote, music and stuff, but basically it was, we got in a car and we would drive from one part. I remember France, we were all over. I
Yeah.
went with my sister Randy, and my parents were there, and it was an amazing time. Holland was a little different. It was cold there, and
Mhm.
that was also all clubs. And back then, the clubs were gorgeous. I don't know if they were new,
Mhm.
and that's what made them so nice. But when I think back, I was lucky. At the time, I didn't know really. I wasn't reflecting on it because I was living it. But when I think back now, it was a long time ago. But it was an amazing time. I was lucky to do it, and I can't even believe coming from Canarsie, Brooklyn, New York,
Right.
that I could travel and people would know the music. It's amazing,
Yeah, it's
really.
amazing. I mean, I
I'm
was in
lucky.
Italy, and it's amazing. They all love American music. I mean, you go to clubs, you go to the bars, and it's all American music. So it's amazing the following that the music here in America gets, in other parts of the world.
That's got to be from the record companies. They're pushing those songs, or for some reason it just takes off. If there was a formula for any of this, everybody would be famous. You know what I mean? And you never know why certain songs last, certain songs take off, why they like them, or that is still to this day. You can't figure it out. You know what I mean? But if you're in the music business all these years, you've seen it happen also, right?
Absolutely. Is it harder, you think, to get into the music business today than it was when you first started?
To me, things seem, I don't want to say easier, but it's so different because just like we're doing this show right now, to me, so many people have so many more different opportunities, and there's just so many different opportunities. Back when I was trying to do it, you went to a record label. Now people don't even care to be on a record label, and it could be the biggest artists. They don't need the record labels. But when I started, you really needed a label to push you, and a major label was really the goal. But I find there's TV shows now. I mean, look at how many TV shows, and there's so many streaming ways, and YouTube, and
Yeah.
TikTok. How could we forget that? But to me, it seems easier, but it just has to catch on, and that's the hardest thing to find. What's the newest thing that's going to catch on? There's no
Exactly.
formula for that either.
What keeps you motivated to keep touring and playing this fantastic music?
Definitely people that want to hear the music, like I do a lot of freestyle shows these days because there's not so many. I mean, I came out in 1984. There's
Right.
really not like a genre of dance music that goes around, because that's what it was when I was on Billboard charts. It was called dance music.
Right.
We don't really travel like that. Once in a while there'll be another act that was out, and there were thousands of records that came out when my records came out. Probably millions of records. But I do fall in with the freestyle acts, and I love it because those fans are like diehard fans. They'll come to the same shows a million times with the same acts. They don't even care. I get thrown in sometimes, and I love it because it just
Right.
keeps the music going. I love to see the people when they sing my music back to me. When people know the words to my songs, it's the best feeling in the whole world.
It's amazing.
They don't have to know my name. They don't have to know what I look like, because that's how it all started. Nobody knew what you looked like, and nobody know my name. Nowadays, everything says it on the radio. It says it when you're streaming. It says it. So it's
Right.
different. My kids know everybody, every artist, every word to every song. They're amazing. My kids with music, they really love it. But back then we were lucky if we knew one phrase of the song, and then you could like go into the record store and sing it or recite it, and you would be lucky if you could buy the record. I remember doing that.
Yeah. I mean, your kids must be really proud of you, right? And I'm sure they're exposed to a lot of your music over the years and your shows, right?
They're great. They come when they can, to shows that are in that 12 o'clock midnight or in a bar, but they
Right.
come and they like to see it, and they're really. I'm very lucky. I have 3 kids,
Uh-huh.
and I have a great family. I always did. Shout out to my family.
Awesome.
They've always been very supportive, and they still come as much as they can. And I'm lucky. I have to say, my kids are great kids. I got a great husband. I got a great family, and we're happy. Thank God.
Yeah, it's great to have family support. That's for sure.
And
I
a
know.
husband from Canarsie also. Let's not forget that.
Yeah, I know. Isn't DJ Al friends with your husband Mark, right?
Yeah.
Right, Al?
Yes.
Yeah, Mark was on the football team. What a running back he was. He was one of the best ball players that I saw from those days, on our age group. He was an unbelievable football player and an even better person. So
Thank you.
Mark is I remember, see, it's not, you don't remember what things people say to you. You remember how people made you feel.
Right.
So, hanging out with Mark, I always felt good. So I haven't seen him since I graduated high school. So Saturday night.
You saw him at Alan's wedding, but you'll see him
Yes,
Saturday night because he's
right.
coming,
I did
of course.
see him at Alan's wedding, but I was working that night. I don't even
That's
remember
right.
that. But I'll be busy Saturday night, but I'll make sure to give him and you a big hug. That's for sure.
Absolutely. I know your wife has joined us, right? You told me she was
Yes.
very instrumental in starting the Canarsie reunions as well, right, Al? Tell us about that.
Yes.
Hello.
Well, I'll let her explain it, but
Sure.
this all started in 2008. Social media wasn't even that big back then, but all I can say is I didn't agree with her idea to do it. We had a big fight. I was really pissed off. I thought she was going to make a fool out of herself.
Right.
But this thing blew up. Alicia, were you there that night?
No,
Okay.
I was
So,
not.
It was at the El Carib.
it was at the El Carib, and we had we had people parking in the middle of Strickland Avenue, and it was just madness. It was just nobody will ever forget that night. So.
Wow.
I just want to
Amazing.
introduce myself. Hi, I'm Melanie. I'm Alan's wife.
Melanie?
30 years we're married. We just celebrated our 30th anniversary.
Wow.
I just want to say, Alicia, thank you. Is such a big part of my growing up. I mean, I went
Thank
to
you.
South Shore too. I graduated in '89. I know
Hmm.
about you and your sister. I've never met you, but I do want to say this. I've been dying to tell you this. I saw you in 1989, maybe 90, at Safari South here on Staten Island.
Okay.
That's the last time I saw you perform.
That's so funny. Now, my question to you, was Safari South another name before that? Because you're a little younger.
I don't know because,
Okay.
again, I grew up in Brooklyn, but we all came out to Staten Island, and I just remember going to Safari South, and you were there. I
That's so
probably
funny.
still even have, because I have all the flyers
Oh my
of like
gosh.
all the clubs I went to. So if I dig deep, I bet you I still have it.
Okay, my guess is maybe it was a Club Madonna's and it was called something else before that. But like we said earlier, you might have missed it. There were so many clubs back
I'm
then. I
not
wish they were
familiar.
still all here.
Yeah, I wasn't really familiar with the Staten Island crowd, but I know I came here and you were performing that night. So
That's so
that was
funny.
the last time I saw you.
All right, well,
Well,
it's
I have
only
a
how
story-
many, 30
story
some
for-
odd years?
I have a story for Alicia. Somebody had told me to tell you to say hello to you. And it happens to also be Alan's cousin, Nicole Levy,
Oh
their
my gosh.
sister's best friend.
Yes.
She said, well, this was supposed to be for Saturday, she had told me to say. And I was like, but I know her. And she goes, just go up to her. She'll crack up. I said, and that's what you're doing now. But that's actually Alan's cousin. It's so funny. Small
That is
world,
funny.
right?
Oh my gosh.
Also,
What a
we
small
got Lisa Sadlis, of course. She wants to say hello to you guys. And also, she wants me to ask Alicia, hello, Lisa. Do you remember Alicia doing a show at Studio 54 in 1985? And she was up on the catwalk, and a drunk guy climbed up there and started to dancing with you.
I was there for that.
Let me tell you, that stage was the scariest stage to perform on because it must have been 4 feet wide and up in the air. And I'm not really great with heights, but the first time I didn't even know where I was going onto a stage like that.
Right.
But I played Studio 54 a bunch of times. It wasn't in the early days of Studio 54, but it was 84, 85, 86, whenever that club was still going on.
Wow.
But that stage was unbelievable, and that club was unbelievable also.
My
But
father
it's
worked
so
there.
funny.
My father was the armed bodyguard chauffeur for Mark Fleischman, who was the owner after Steve Rebell.
Oh my God.
And I used to go to school in the limousine.
Wow.
I was 10. I'm younger than you people.
Yeah, Myra Scher, who's also from Studio 54, she listens to the show all the time. And also, I got to give a shout out to Mark Berry, of course. He's listening to the show.
Oh,
Alicia,
great.
tell us who Mark Berry is.
Mark, well, I said in the beginning,
Right.
he's my producer that he found All Night Passion, Two Turned On, Baby Took, my whole first album he did, and my second album also. We worked together, and we haven't seen each other so much over the years, but he keeps popping up and we keep bumping into each other. So it's nice to know he's watching. Hey,
He's
Mark.
out there right now. So thanks, Mark, for listening. I appreciate it.
He's
And,
the one that started it all, honestly. I got to give him his props. If it wasn't for him, I would not be here for sure. Maybe Alan would know me from the hood, but I don't know if anybody else would have.
Well, Al, tell me again about the reunion. Give us the details.
I'll let Melanie explain it because she was really the one that made it happen.
Okay.
I mean, once I got involved, that's when everyone started coming together. But she really originated it.
Are you talking about 2008,
Yeah.
the El
No,
Carib?
I'm talking about the reunion coming up on Saturday. Yeah, I just want to refresh everybody with the
Richmond
details.
Republic.
Yep.
All right, so the one coming up this Saturday, all I have to say is, we're looking at a good turnout, but a lot of people, they choose not to go out,
Right.
and they'll make excuses not to go out. They don't care about this one. They don't care about that one. Like Tony Ann always says, life is just so short. This could be the last time we do this. Who knows? There's always parties, but we're getting into our 60s.
Right.
So I think it's just a special thing that we can just keep doing this. Between last year and this year, it went so fast. It's like unbelievable how fast the year went. But a lot of people were sorry that they missed it. So this is their opportunity to come. I just hope people would say to themselves, you know what, I'm going to go out. I want to see people that I haven't seen in 30, 40 years. I want to talk to them, see how they're doing, give them a hug, listen to some of the music, obviously see Alicia perform. It takes a lot of work from us to share it on social media, reach out to people, work things out with Mike Ladani. It takes a lot behind the scenes to get these things to work and put them together. Thank God for social media. It's amazing how, you can get the word out. But, we want everyone to show up, obviously. We want to have a packed house. We want everyone to make memories and never forget this night. I'm going to do the best I can to give an amazing DJ performance. Obviously, we know Alicia's going to do her thing. So I think it's going to be an amazing summer evening. The weather looks beautiful. The humidity is going to be gone by Thursday, and Saturday's shaping up to be in the mid 80s with no humidity. So that's going to help, and no rain. So that's
We
So-
also
Yeah, I want to
there's
thank Tony Ann too. Tony Ann and Al, and of course you, Alicia. Of course, I think I have the honor of bringing you out on stage, which will be so awesome.
Oh, good. That's so
cool.
nice to know.
Yeah, absolutely. So I'm looking forward to that, and I hope a lot of people come down and hang out with us. It's going to be a great time. So any final thoughts, Tony Ann? Give us some final thoughts about the reunion.
Okay, so if anybody wants to have dinner, there's reservations can be made, and then after that they could stay. So that's totally up to people who would like to do that. There is no cover charge if you choose not to eat there, and there is valet parking, so free valet parking. So, I mean, it'll be a fun night, and like I said, whoever was there last year. And there was a lot of people that flew in from last year, from Florida, all over. They had a really good time. And, a lot of people were sorry that, like Alan said, that they didn't make it. So hopefully whoever can make it, make it. We are going to have a little, it's a little sad. There's a lot of people that should have been coming, but unfortunately we lost a lot.
Yeah, we did. Absolutely. And that's so sad. Al, final thoughts about the reunion.
I'm excited about it. I'm looking forward to seeing everybody. Like I said, I hope people that are on the fence, decide to come. It's just an amazing bond that we have. I don't know how many neighborhoods in New York or anywhere in the world can say that, they get together after so many years and have these kind of events. So, we're blessed. We're really blessed, beyond blessed, to grow up when we did, come from where we came from, and to continue to do these type of things. And hopefully, we'll see everybody Saturday night, and it'll be an amazing event.
Yeah, absolutely. We're looking forward to it. And also, I'm getting emails here, so I'm just reading them. Brad wants to say hello to you guys. Brad Siegel.
Oh, hi, Brad.
Yeah, so Brad Siegel's out there. He wants to say hello. He's going to be there, and it's with Team Siegel. He's going to have all hats and shirts with Team Siegel. So he wants you guys to know that, and
Okay.
we're looking forward to that. So many people are listening to the show all the time. I know there's Cindy out in Lake Ronkonkoma, Beryl out in Virginia is listening right now. And Alicia, thank you so much for taking the time out to come out on the show. I'm looking forward to hanging out with you on Saturday night and everybody who comes out to the reunion. This is my first Canarsie reunion, so it's going to be very special hanging out with Alicia for sure. So, I
Mine
want to
too.
thank
So it will be my first time, but it won't be
Oh.
our last. We'll do
It
that
will be
again.
our
I'm
last.
on it.
Alicia,
Okay.
some more favorite
Word of the
memories
year.
of Canarsie. Some more favorite memories of Canarsie, Alicia.
Are you going to
Oh
be
my
hanging
God.
out with us, Alicia? Will you be hanging with
Sure.
your Canarsie family?
Sure, why not?
Excellent. I love it.
That time, definitely stay with us.
I wanted to tell you one thing that you mentioned. Bell Bialys, I'm related to now. When I married Mark, it's his cousin, and
it.
they're in Long Island.
Well, they're great.
They
Where
just
I am
moved. They
now.
were around the corner on Foster Avenue from my mom's house in Canarsie. Yeah.
Yes, they were. But growing up, that was a great memory. After the clubs, we would go there
Mhm.
for bagels next door, for, bagels and Bialys, and then of course I had to hit the Arch Diner. That was really where we went after my shows at 4 or 5 o'clock in the morning. But
Yeah, so sad to see that closed down. That's gone now.
yeah, I
That was
just
like
drove
we used
through
to
the
go to
neighborhood.
Seaview Diner.
Oh,
That
the
was
city-
on. That was on
Yeah.
to the Seaview Diner.
Yes, there's so many memories there. There's too many to mention.
Forever.
Too
Yeah,
many good ones,
absolutely.
that's for sure.
Yeah, so I'm looking forward to seeing everybody Saturday night. It's going to be a fantastic reunion, and again, it's Richmond Republic, right, Staten Island, and no cover charge. And somebody just texted me too and said the food is really good there.
Oh, it is. It's 100% good. That I could vouch for. And I'm not just saying that, but it's the truth. They got
Or
really.
make a reservation if you want to eat.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay.
that's a good idea. And what time should they get out there for dinner if they want to come for dinner, Al?
I would call them up and stuff like that. Jimmy, you don't have to make a
7.
reservation. I got you in the back by us.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, fantastic. Well, thank you so much. But as I said, look forward to everybody coming out and hanging out with us. Why don't you guys just hang with me? I'm going to wrap up this show real quick, and I'm going to come right back to you guys, okay? So
Okay.
just
Thanks
stay
so
where you
much.
are, all right? So I want to thank everybody for listening to Celebrity Spotlight. Thanks, Tom Payton, who's out there and listens to the show all the time. Cindy, Lake Ronkonkoma, producer Cindy, thank you. Always doing a great job for me. Also, as I mentioned, Tom Payton, Virginia, up in Virginia. We got Beryl and her dad, Michael, listening. Thank you so much. And coming up Thursday, another special Celebrity Spotlight. Owen Elliott's going to be here, the daughter of Cass Elliott. Of course, her mom was Mama Cass Elliott from the Mamas and the Papas. She's signing a book up in, I believe it's Ridgewood, New Jersey. So we're going to talk about the book that she just wrote about her mom. So she'll be here with me on Celebrity Spotlight on Thursday, and that's going to be at 7 p.m. on Thursday. And then also joining me next week on Celebrity Spotlight is Carol Connors. She has a brand new book also called Elvis, Rocky, and Me. She dated Elvis Presley for a while. She co-wrote the Rocky theme song, Gonna Fly Now, and she's going to talk all about her career. She is a singer as well, and so I'm so looking forward to that. Thank everybody for listening, and please join us at the reunion. We're so looking forward to it. Richmond Republic. Tony, and tell us one more time. Give us the details.
Okay, Richmond Republic, 4459 Amboy Road in Staten Island. Come one, come all. We're all wanting everybody to come and join us. So like I said, it'll be fun.
Absolutely. Well, thank you, everybody. Everybody have a fantastic night, and we will see you Saturday night at the reunion. Thank you, DJ Al Rock, and thank you so much, Alicia, a Canarsie legend. So happy to see you, and so looking forward to
Thank you,
seeing you on
Jimmy.
Saturday.
Thank
Great
you.
show. Thanks, Jimmy. See you Saturday.
Bye.
Good to
Okay,
see
hang on, guys.
everybody.
Guys, see you
Goodbye,
Saturday.
everybody.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye.